Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Bree, and today, as you can see from the title, is going to be all the books I read in January. I read a total of 7 books, and that's pretty normal for me. I think I've just been having a good reading year so far because I've been allowing myself to just mood read whatever I want, and it's proven pretty good. So I have a couple books here that I found. That's a series that I really have been enjoying and found a new favorite. And I found a new favorite cozy fantasy, and yeah, there's just been a lot of good stuff. There's been some okay books, but overall it's been a great reading month, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. So yeah, let's get into the video. So the first books I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about together just because they are part of a series, and so I want to talk about The Diviners and Layer of Dreams. Diviners is the first in the Libba Bray series, and this is the second, and it's a 4-book series. So The Diviners is set in 1920s in New York, and it basically is following these people who have powers of some sort. So there's like, if you touch an object, you can get memories from the person who it belongs to. Then there's like healing, and there's some dream walking and stuff like that come about. In this one, we're mainly following Evie, and she is coming to New York from Ohio to live with her uncle, and her uncle is a professor of the occult, and he is asked to help on a case where people are being sacrificed, and they are trying to figure out what is happening, who this killer is, and why it's making these look like sacrifices. And so her and her friends and her uncle get wrapped up in this mystery, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. It connects a lot of things I really enjoy in books, one of which is mysteries. I love speculative elements to my mysteries and historical elements, so it just really combined all those things for me. Plus, there is just really good character work in here. I think that each character gets its own story, and she really does spend the time to let you get to know each character. And I think characters that didn't have as much background in this one, she really focused on in Layer of Dreams, and I just can't wait to see where the series goes. I know that the last one people have had some negative thoughts on, but I'm just having a great time right now. So I would say this one was my favorite, but I did really like Layer of Dreams, and I really feel like it built on what the first one was doing. And yeah, they're both really good. I would really highly suggest the audiobook. The narrator, January Lavoie, she is so good. She can do, each character sounds like their own person, and so each time I would pick it up, I just could tell who was talking right away, and I really love that about it. I would say these are darker than I thought that they were going to be. It's YA, but I wouldn't say it's as easy going. Like, you might want to look up some trigger warnings before you get into it, but I'm really having a good time, and I'm allowing myself to just read whatever I want. And I think before booktube, if I really liked a book, I used to continue the series right away, and I kind of stopped doing that in the last year just because I thought that was kind of boring, or I wanted to prioritize other books. I meant boring to watch, not boring to read. And then I would prioritize other books, and this year I'm gonna mood read whatever I want. So I picked up these 2, and I am not mad about it because I am loving that series. So then I'll talk about a fantasy mystery that just didn't do it as much for me. And I say fantasy mystery, but I really do think this is a mystery with a sprinkle of fantasy, and that's Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This is a very readable book. It's about this girl. It's about this girl and this guy, and August and Emery. Emery's best friend died when she was in high school, and August was Emery's boyfriend, and everyone in the town believes that August killed her best friend. He comes back like 15 years later to bury his mother, who has passed away. It just brings up all these old memories and brings to light what actually happened during that time. This is like set in a town that really reminds me of Practical Magic, where you have everyone in town knows that there's magic, but visitors to the place don't fully believe that the place is magical, but it just has an air of magic. So people go during the holidays and things like that to like buy candles and buy like the witchy accessories and stuff, but they don't actually believe it. But the town itself is actually magic. So I think that this was much more romance heavy than mystery heavy, and that is not what I was looking for. But also, if you have speculative elements, I really want it to have speculative elements, and I feel like this was just a sprinkle in there to create an atmosphere and less to actually like have a fantasy, if that makes sense. And I like when a book, it does dual timeline, and I really do like books with dual timeline, but in this case I didn't really enjoy it because I felt like we were only getting flashbacks to August and Emery's like past relationship, and I didn't see how that helped the mystery very much. So I thought it was okay, but I think if you are a beginner into like speculative mystery, it could be one to try out. Or if you are a fantasy reader who wants to get into mystery, I think this is a very digestible mystery. So there's that. Then I read Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, and this is translated from Japanese by Ginny Tapley Takamori. And this is just a little novella about this woman, Hiko, and it's about her and how she works at this convenience store, and it gives her a lot of peace. It gives her a lot of routine and structure, and she just really enjoys it because she knows what to expect, and it just is really good for her. But everyone keeps telling her that she needs to want more, or that she should be looking to be married or build her career or all these things. And so this is really just a book about her feeling the pressures of society and what all her family and friends are telling her she should be doing, and deciding if she should go with what they say or she should follow what she thinks is good. And it really touched my heart. I connected with it in a way that I wasn't fully expecting, but I have heard nothing but good reviews about it, and so I kind of knew going in that I was going to like it, but I didn't expect to just love it as much as I did. And yeah, it's just about one woman and trying to figure out what she wants in life, and if she should just go with her own path or if she should go with what everyone's telling her to do. And yeah, it was just a really, really good book. I would highly recommend it, and it's a short read too. So then I read Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Tsukigawa. This is also translated from Japanese, and this is translated by Allison Watts. And this is a story about this man who he previously was in jail, and his employer has basically paid off his debts, and now he is working at his employer's restaurant to pay him back. So he got him out of trouble, basically. And he's just going about life, not really invested in anything. And then this one day, this woman who's older, she comes in and she makes sweet bean paste for these dorayaki, which are like pancakes that they put the sweet bean paste in. And she makes the best sweet bean paste he's ever had, and so he ends up deciding if he wants to hire her on. And it's a story about their friendship. It's about people being different and accepting people as they are, and your own like judgments of people and how they can be wrong. And I think that the message would have been a little more powerful to me if we got more with the characters, because there was a lot of scenes where you would start to see them connecting, and then it would do like a time jump and kind of want you to fill in the gaps of like that they got closer together, and you just didn't get a lot of on-page connection that I wanted. And then some of the scenes where you did get kind of more powerful moments, I just think that they didn't hit as hard as they could have because we didn't get as much of that character connection throughout the book. So I just feel like it could have benefited by being a little bit longer. But I did really enjoy the like food aspect of this, and the way it's just described and talked about, I really enjoyed. And I usually like a quirky cast of characters, or characters that are all different from each other coming together. And I did like this. I just think it wasn't as powerful as I wanted it to be. It wasn't a new fave, and it wasn't quite as cozy as I was hoping it to be. But overall, I think it has a good message. And so that was that one. Then I read another disappointment, and then I will get to my favorite book. So this one is not a bad book. I just think I built it up so much to have such high expectations that it just wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. And that is A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn, and this is the first in the Veronica Speedwell series that everyone loves. I think that this is really appealing to like a romance reader who also likes mystery, but I'm more of a mystery reader who will have romance sprinkled in, but am not a romance first reader. And I think that this just was much more dedicated to the romance. So this is following Veronica, and she is just burying the last of her guardians. So she had 2 aunts, and the last one has passed. And so she comes home to her home being robbed, and she chases the guy out, and she's about to get kidnapped, but this guy who's a baron like stops it and tells her that she's in danger and she should come with him. So she does, and he takes her to Stoker, who is kind of a grumpy curmudgeon type character. And when they are there, they find out that the Baron who saved her ends up being murdered, and they want to figure out why he's been murdered and what it has to do with her. I thought there was going to be a lot more mystery to it, and there is like at the last like bit, but a lot of the middle is dedicated to Veronica and Stoker and them and their banter and getting to know them as characters, because I think this is supposed to be a slow burn romance as well. And I think that for me, I just was looking for much more mystery and then have the romance come more throughout the series. And it is a slow burn. It was much more focused on their back and forth, and it wasn't quite for me. I don't know. I just think that there was something that I didn't connect with fully like I did with the Rexford and Sloane series, and maybe it's because the Rexford and Sloane series is so high for me that this just couldn't compare. And again, I think that I had such high expectations for this that it just let me down a bit, but that's not the book's fault. It was just I built it up so much to be like a new favorite that it isn't. But I also have read Deanna Raybourn before. I tried her other series. I can't remember what it's called. And I read the first one and I just didn't love that one either for some of the choices she made in the mystery. And I just don't know if Deanna Raybourn's going to be like my author in the historical genre. I think that these are fun and I'll probably continue in the series, just not as quick as I was hoping. And maybe the characters will grow on me. But yeah, I just didn't love it quite as much as I was hoping to. Now onto a book that completely blew me away. Like, I thought I was going to like it, but as soon as I started, I was like, no, I love this book. And it continued through the whole thing. And that's Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I think this is my new favorite cozy fantasy. This is, I've said in my reading vlog, if you watch that this is a little bit more soft fantasy than full cozy, because there is some on-page death, but I think that the whole tone and the whole feeling of this is cozy. It's just that it's not completely without conflict. Like I said, there is some on-page death, but we're basically following Emily Wilde, and she is writing an Encyclopedia of Fairies, and she's going to this place in Sweden. And it's the last place she has to go to finish her book, and she is just there to document the fairies. And I love this because she takes this so seriously. She is very much knows everything there is to know about fairies, and she loves to study them. And so she's going, and you're getting her like insight into fairies as she's going and finding them. But you also get footnotes where she'll say about different studies and how, you know, this one's actually been disproven and stuff like that. So you're getting a lot of that academia feel that I really like. You are also getting her and her like colleague his name's Brambleby, and he comes and he is there to also do research, but really their banter and their back and forth is so perfect. He kind of just throws her off her game, and he's completely the opposite of her, and it's just so fun. And they get swept up into this fairy shenanigans, I'll say. And I love this so much because it's just two kinds of characters that kind of bring out the best in each other and the worst. Like, they get under each other's nerves, but they bring out the best in each other. And also, I love the academic side. I love that we actually get information about fairies in here. A lot of times you get those research and it's very much focused on the mystery at hand, and I love that there was this combination of both learning and mystery, and it was just perfect. I highly suggest it if you are looking for a softer fantasy book. And this is actually going to be a series, and I really can't wait to be a series. It says at the end, I thought it was going to be standalone, but I'm so happy it's going to be a series because I just want to be back in this world. I was literally laughing out loud. The audiobook was pretty good as well, just to get to know the characters a bit more. I think they came to life a lot in that audiobook. I have no bad things to say about this. Truly, it's up there. My favorite cozy fantasy had been The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I think that this either is topped it or right at it. I can't decide. I think I need to sit on this longer, but I loved it so much. I could not put it down. I did not want to leave. You know, when you close a book and you just are sad that it has ended and you just want to be back in that world, that's how I felt with this. And yeah, I would highly recommend it. So I think that's a quick little video. I really didn't realize I was wrapping up that so quickly, but these are all the books I read in the month of January. I realized like halfway through the month that I was reading all blue books, and so I decided to keep it with the blue theme. So I only read books that have blue or like a blackish blue, and that's, here we are. I mean, this one obviously has some pinks, but it has blue, a lot of blue. So that's that little tidbit. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear a comment down below on them. And also, I want to know if you're a series reader. Does it bug you when the last book has bad reviews? Does that like put you off a series? Or does that just make you more interested to find out what it is? Because I think for me, I just am more interested to find out why everyone doesn't like the fourth book when the first two have been so good. So yeah, leave a comment down below. But I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you, if you haven't subscribed or liked this video, and I will see you next time.